All right, guys, welcome to the podcast, Clubhouse episode 253. I'm so chilled this morning, I forgot to even put my headphones on. It's been a busy week.
What a contrast in your chilledness from this time last podcast.
Yeah, I think I was kind of faking also how chilled actually was.
You weren't chilled last podcast.
I was faking even at that point.
Wow.
So this week it's been a roller coaster week. Obviously, the last you heard off us, I was doing open qualifying on Monday. Let's just dive straight into that. Okay, It didn't quite go to plan. However, what's weird is I've come off open qualifying with a new level of confidence, and I don't quite know why. Like I played not great. Okay, I shot 81, 9 over par. I had 2 triple bogeys on the scorecard, but realistically, genuinely right now, I actually think I only hit 2 terrible golf shots.
Okay.
And I think...
Talk to me.
So...
Well, the video, by the way, we should get this. This podcast will be live Friday morning, first thing. The full video of your round at open qualifying, and people have to watch it. It's a very different edit, we must say. It's very different, very raw, very real. Watching you play golf very seriously.
If you want to see me cry.
Yeah, halfway through. The tantrum was a bit too far, the stamping the feet.
I think snapping 3 clubs was appropriate though.
And I also thought it was weird that you thought you'd get privileges because you got a lot of subscribers.
Yeah.
You thought you'd get a breakfast ball, which you didn't need, ironically, because you hit such a good tee shot.
But then I thought I could roll over that breakfast
correct.
Ball. No, but seriously, I was weirdly, and this sounds so daft because I shot 81. It's there, public knowledge. It's out on the Opens website. I think out of 130 golfers, I came 90th, and obviously did not qualify for regional qualifying and did not break 75.
You won the hearts of millions, though.
However, honestly, genuinely, I hit 2 bad golf shots, like really terrible. The rest was okay. And I hit some really good golf shots. Yeah. And the back 9 could have been fantastic. I could have been 2 or 3 under par back 9 comfortably. I messed up the last hole, which was really... That one really hurts me in the heart, and it still has now, albeit it's Friday. Since Monday, it's hurt me in the heart every time I look at it or think about it. But... there was actually some good golf in there.
There was, and we won't give too much away of the golf shots because I think people have to watch the video. As I said, it's a very different edit. I think people, when they put it on tonight, hopefully, and sit on the TV and watch it, they'll really get a feel for the day. There was a large crowd walking around. I think frustratingly, sometimes it doesn't always show on the camera, but there was about comfortably 100 and odd people watching, I would say. Yeah. And at certain points, there was much more than that as well because people were around the first as well. There was loads of people watch that tee shot that we will give away. You absolutely nailed.
I honestly don't know if I've ever been kind of quite as nervous because it's not a tee shot. I didn't like that opening tee shot either. It wasn't where I could just kind of hit driver anywhere. It was a slight dogleg down the hill to the left. In practice on the Sunday, the wind was off the right, and I thought, well, if I just hit this kind of little chasey draw down there, it'll be fine. But playing it on Monday, the wind was off the left.
Yeah.
And I'm stood there going, I've got a striper 3-iron because anything more than that is going to put you in trouble. I'd prefer to have hit a driver, really. I'm now striping a 3-iron. It's got to be accurate. There's loads of people watching. And I was genuinely as nervous as I've ever felt. But stood up there, picked my line, and just absolutely rifled it.
Well, I didn't tell you this because I didn't want to obviously put you off, but I went an hour or so before you to Coldy to see a couple of people I knew, and then I came back and we did the podcast. I watched a few tee shots that were absolute nightmares because you're right, a 3-iron or 2-iron off a tee, so much can go wrong. You can fat it, you can smash it massively right, you can snap hook it, you can shank it. Yes, you can hit a lot of bad shots with the driver, but you're more about just hitting the face and hoping it moves forward. With an long iron, first proper shot of the day, it's a risky one. You did nail it. But
I think what helped for me as well is I was nervous in the morning. We did the podcast at the Airbnb and I was kind of quite nervous because I didn't really know what to expect. Once I actually arrived at the golf course, I'd kind of calmed down a little bit and I'd hit a few nice putts, and actually, for me, probably had one of the best warm-up sessions I've ever had.
Like, first and best.
Genuinely, I stood there and I know you guys were kind of watching. I was very chilled, very relaxed, and just hitting these really nice struck iron shots. I probably, out of, let's say I hit 50 golf balls, I probably misstruck maybe 3 or 4, but the rest of them were really good. And I was like, okay, I think I can actually kind of do this.
You know what opened my eyes with this? I've been to open qualifying before, and obviously I'm very lucky. I've been to many big high profile tour events and watched some of the best players hitting golf shots and playing golf, etc. Personally, from my perspective, it opened my eyes so much. And this might be a good thing, it might be a negative thing, I'm not sure. But how far removed I feel and want to be from competitive golf, because obviously you didn't have the best round ever, but a respectable score, and you know your real goal was breaking 75. You shot 81 with 2 terrible holes. You weren't a million miles off doing it.
I could definitely break 75 in open qualifying.
You could. I think that was proven by, you know, if you hadn't had those 2 holes, you pretty much would have done. So that's fair. You look at some of the, you had to be scratch or better as an amateur to enter, and obviously you had to be a professional. So the caliber of player there was serious, and there was some great golfers there as well. Of course there was. And you look at some of the scores, and yeah, it's one round, and anything can happen. And it wasn't an easy day. There's a lot of wind. But everyone can relate to this. When you've played golf and a good scorecard going and you mess up at the end, and obviously you felt that a little bit, and Rory McIlroy recently felt that, obviously, at the US Open. But when you just play golf casually, that feeling is so much smaller, because if you've got a decent round going with your friends and you mess up, oh, what, never mind. But if you're one of those younger kids, younger fellas, whatever, who was in open qualifying, who's 18, 19, who's decided not to go to university to pursue golf as a full-time career, this will be the highlight of their year, in terms of this is the thing they're working for all year round, going to the gym, going to the range, having lessons, having a psychologist to go to this. And how some of those would have felt who shot in the 80s or whatever, there's some high 80s. It must be soul destroying. I don't envy them at all. However, on the flip side, and why golf is so addictive, the ones who've gone and got through open qualifying the first stage must be feeling euphoric.
Yeah, my mate John Beasley ended up getting through.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so who I caddied for, I won't caddy for him again in final qualifying, but he got to a 7-man playoff for 1 spot.
Yeah.
He came second in the playoff, but then he's got in because of a reserve.
Oh, wow.
So he's in at West Lancs next week. It is weird. I was nervous, but I like to say, once I'd hit that opening shot, I really calmed down. I mean, my second shot into the green, like I said, I'm not going to go through every shot. My second shot into the green was lovely. Made a great putt on the second. Recovered really well on the third. Had a nightmare on the fourth, and then I really felt like the ground was slipping away from me. Over the next 4 or 5 holes, the ground was really slipping away, and then just one really good iron shot I hit into 10 just like sparked me to go again. Is
that you done with open qualifying?
On the video, I said yes. On the video, I said I'm never playing professional golf again. And I think that was quite a raw emotion. So again, you're not going to see this in the video. After my round of golf, I was genuinely devastated, because as much as I knew I wasn't going to qualify, I wasn't going for that goal really, but I wanted to put in a reason. I said it on the podcast, anywhere either side, 2 shots either side of 75, I would have taken. And genuinely, if I'd parred the last or birded the last, I would have achieved my goal of shooting 77 or 78. I would have snatched your hand off at that. And afterwards, I got in the car, and I didn't want to speak to anybody. I had loads of people at the clubhouse, and the fans who walked around were brilliant. Thank you very much if you did walk around. It was amazing. But I ended up going on the terrace and chatting to a few competitors and also some other fans. And I found it really difficult to tell my score at that point, because I was embarrassed, because I was like, because I was almost 81, but I had 2 triples and this, that, and the other. And I got to my car, and I put my clubs in the car, and I sat in my car, and I was going to, because we were going to Royal Troon that night. We had a long drive up to Royal Troon. And I sat in my car for about 10 minutes, and I was annoyed, and I was frustrated, and I was hot, and it was a really hot day, and I was like, I'm just going to drive off. I'm going to drive off, and I'm really annoyed with myself. And
the Rory McIlroy is now called.
Yeah, and I kind of like a couple of slams on my steering wheel, and you know, I don't know. I was just really, really, really frustrated at it, the heat at the moment. And I thought, you know what, Rick? Hold on a minute. You had fans and followers come round there and walk around with you. You had loads of people after the round asking how you got on. People are interested. Go and show your bloody face. So I pulled myself out of the car. It's like a scene, like almost like The Mask, where it's like I felt like I was pulling myself out. Like it wasn't really me. It was like, no, get out of the car. And almost my conscience was like, get out of the car and go and smile and be nice. So I pulled myself out of the car, went back to the clubhouse and faced the music. I shot 81, I shot 9 over, right? And faced the music, chatted to people, had a bit of food with the crew. The crew were wonderful who filmed it. Ben, who can't smell and taste, who's obviously on the audio over there. And Matt and Ed, who also did a great job. And like I said, the video was going to come out this week. And I was like, you know what, face it. And I'm glad I did, because there were some young fans there who wanted a picture. I actually had the golf ball still in my pocket that I played with, and I gave this young fan the golf ball.
They gave it you back.
So the ball you just made triple on the last with. So I gave him a golf ball, I had a few pictures, I signed a few bits and bobs, and I was like, what am I actually doing this for? And I then did the closing clip of the video. I did it after I'd had a bit of food and had a bit of time to digest and saw some other scores coming in. Because when you shoot like an 81, you think that's going to be the worst round all day.
Oh, it was not.
I know it wasn't nowhere near. And then you look at other venues and you look at some really high scores that are coming in and you think, you know what? Considering I'm not a player, I don't vouch to be a player. I've actually done all right.
Yeah.
Like, I know it sounds like a daft thing to say. And there were spells, pockets of really, really good golf under pressure with a lot of people watching, which is like, you know what, that's good. And I did a little clip at the end, and I said in that clip, I'm never going to play professional golf again. That's me, done, over. And then the more I've reflected on it, and we played at Royal Troon yesterday, which, by the way, that video is going to be coming out soon.
It's amazing.
Really, really good. I feel like something's kind of weirdly clicked in my game. And first tee at Troon yesterday, were you pretty nervous? Or not too bad?
I wasn't too bad, but no, I wasn't really.
I genuinely was as calm as I've possibly ever been on a first tee shot. Because I was thinking, well, I've just been through that open qualifying and I've absolutely pummeled one down the middle. I couldn't have hit it better, that tee shot on the first. And I've stood there with our crew and we're playing with James Robinson, you, me and James, and we're doing a break 70, 75 and break 80. And I was like, what's there to worry about? And I hit it lovely. And I don't know if my demeanour, I won't give it away, but I had a bit of a hiccup on one hole of the golf course yesterday, but I felt like my demeanour was better. Like, I felt like I wasn't being quite as hard on myself and I played some really, really good golf. And I feel 81 should be the worst score I ever shoot for the rest of my career. So I don't know. To answer your question, I actually don't know. And I'm almost now thinking, well, do I make it? And I might not document it. It might not be a YouTube thing that I document. But do I try and do it for the next 5 years? And we don't document, we're not a series.
With what goal?
To get better at golf.
Right.
To genuinely get better at golf. And it's quite interesting, actually. I've just started listening to this audio book of Bob Rotella. I used to listen to loads of Bob Rotella stuff when I was younger, read books and stuff. And there's a newish book, and it's like, make your next shot a great shot, or something. I think that's the title of it. And it's talking about how to get better and how you should actually aim quite grand and aim quite big. Because if you don't quite hit that target, you'll get fairly close to it. A bit like Tiger Woods wanting to try and beat Jack Nicklaus's major record. Well, he's not going to, it doesn't look like he's going to achieve it. Got pretty close, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And I think, of those, how am I as a golfer who has played golf for, God, how many years? I've played golf for 26 years of my life now. I still feel like there's a better game in there. So I don't know. I want to play better golf and I want to enjoy it more and I want to feel like I've given it my best shot. I don't want to look back at golf in 10 years and go, God, you had a good opportunity there, Rick.
That was a good question, good point though. Do you enjoy it more by trying to get better? Because I feel like in your game, the most frustration you've had this last 6 months has been aligned with trying to get better.
I think it has, but also, I think that's my impatience of it not clicking. I think I've been practicing and working harder on my game than ever before, but not seeing instant results.
Yeah.
I think to myself, okay, have I been fair on myself there? Have I been fair on my return for investment? I've not practiced. I'm not grinding 6 hours a day.
Yeah, that's true.
If I'm doing 6 hours a week, that's a lot. And I'm not doing that, let's be honest. But I've been physically training more towards golf. I've been practicing a little bit more, quite a bit more, to be honest. I've been thinking a bit more about golf, actually playing. I'm thinking, you know what? I don't think that's fair reflection. So anyway, I do feel like I've turned the corner and I think I will enter qualifying again. Because as much as it terrifies me, there's a part of me that absolutely loved it. It's weird, isn't it?
I do get that.
It's a bit like London Marathon. Exactly, almost the same feeling. When I enter it, I've entered again for next year. This has been the third year in a row. It's bloody hell on earth. When I'm out there, it's absolutely hell on earth. But the feeling and the achievement and the satisfaction you get from it after completing it is like, it's well worth it.
But then how does that relate to golf? Because I suppose the feeling of the marathon is you might not do it. You knew you were going to play 18 holes. So how does that...
It has to be score orientated, definitely. Or just, did I hit the ball well?
Yeah.
Did I feel like... Because bad things are going to happen. You can make a double bogey after hitting a good shot. But it's, did I hit the ball well? Did I control my emotions? Like, did I feel like I hit it how I expect to hit it? You know, so... I don't think I'll document it though. I don't think it's a strand of content. Obviously, other creators are doing that. And obviously, we've done it a little bit this year, and I've done it, 7 or 8 years ago. But even if that was a catalyst in the back of my mind to go, well, every single year for the next 5 years, I'm going to try and qualify for the Open. Like, as in, it's not even a break. I'm actually going to see, can I get through regional qualifying? Can I get through final qualifying? Like, why not be the goal? Because even if I don't hit that, surely my game's going to get better.
That's true. And your game has got better this time, I'd say.
It's definitely got better. And the score genuinely doesn't reflect of how well I played. It was just 2 bad shots. The bunker shot had no exception. I just hit a bad bunker shot.
I suppose my next question is something we've talked about kind of off podcast. I think on as well is that with that, then obviously you're also a kind of content creator. Your videos are you playing golf and having fun. Where does that balance of having to play well versus enjoying a video?
But I think the better I'm playing and the more I'm understanding my own game, I think I'll enjoy it more.
Yeah.
And also, when I hate golf, and I'm sure you're the same, when I hate golf, when I just feel like I literally can't hit my hat, and I'm shooting mid-80s, high 80s, but struggling to break 90. That's when you hate golf the worst. And you've said that.
Yeah.
Like, if you can hit it well, sometimes you're not as worried about the score. Correct. But the score looks after itself, doesn't it? Yeah. If you're hitting it well. For me, it's like, well, if I hit it well and I hit it better, if I walk off and shoot a 79, even if I put all the practice in the world, if I shoot 79 and go, okay, I can live with 79.
That's like if I play a golf course, I'm thankful and lucky that most courses I play are often courses I've never played before. I want to actually enjoy the course and hit fairways, or at least hit it in play and be able to hit my next shot. When I'm spraying it all over the place and can't find the golf ball, it's inevitably less enjoyable because you're not feeling like you're playing golf, you're just reloading all the time.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think it's more for me and my own kind of mindset of going into this, like, I'm not going, I want to get better at golf. And it's also like, the matches then, if I'm playing against another creator or content creator, I want to go into those thinking, yeah, you know what? I'm going to win this match. How much more enjoyable was it when I played against Grant and beat him than it was against whoever and lost?
Yeah. I get it.
So
I think that's the thing. It's more enjoyable for you, obviously. But the difficult thing is, either way, it has to try and be the same for the viewer.
I think it'll be more enjoyable for the viewer.
That's what I'm saying. But then if you don't play well, if you play badly, it's how you still have to try and keep that enjoyment level up.
Correct.
So it's that kind of contrast. If you play well against Grant and win, you're in a great mood, the video's brilliant. But if you played then Grant and lost...
But I think the difference is, and this is where, at the moment, if I start badly and make a double, I sometimes don't feel like I've got the game to make any birdies. And then suddenly it's just error. And your score just goes... But even if I'm playing better and playing well, if I make a double on the first, I go, that's all right, I can probably make 4 birdies this round of golf. Do you know what I mean? It's just a different mindset to go, because sometimes as soon as my game starts to slip, I don't see, I can't get out, my mind is like...
There was one thing, actually, I'll tell you that we didn't tell yesterday in real life, so I won't give anything away, but there was you were in the bunker, and then obviously a bit of an error. And one thing that me and James said was it was quite interesting how you went back in after. So we finished the hole, and me and James walked to the next tee, and then you had another go at the shot. That wasn't getting filmed, obviously, just for your own sanity. And I said to James, I don't understand how there's any way this suddenly, there's a win from this. And you might tell me differently, but because my thinking was, again, without giving too much, you didn't get out of a bunker. Well, you got out of a bunker and it came back in, which is very common on a links course. And then you got it out.
Certainly this particular hole. And
then you did what you did, right? And the camera stopped rolling, we walked off, and you had another go. And I thought to myself, right, here, now, if you hit this shot again and hit it perfectly, in my mind, you might be different. I'd be thinking, why didn't you do that first time? Equally, if you thin it into the wall and face the bunker and don't get it out, you're thinking, bloody hell, my game can almost reinforce the negativity. And one thing that James said to me was that with that situation, he felt like, and everyone's different, but the longer you're literally in that situation, the longer that period of negativity goes on for. Whereas if you just tap the ball in the hole and go, oh, I got X score, and then walk off and have a bit of a chat, it almost closes quicker. Do you feel like that, or do you kind of feel like you want to I kind of get it with the putt that broke a different way. So go, well, let's have another go at that putt. But I feel like you quite often hit shots again afterwards to almost redo it in your head. I don't quite know if that works for you or not, but maybe it does.
I don't know why. I think it's more to prove to myself the next time.
Right. So you see it as a positive that you're going to spin it. Right, that's good then.
Or if, let's say, the same result happens, go, well, actually, that was probably going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
I don't actually see a negative from it, personally, for me. So, the first shot, I hit a nice bunker shot.
Yeah.
I didn't quite hit it hard enough. I was like, okay, what happened if I would proper hit that harder and actually hit it over the green?
Yeah.
And then tried another shot and went, right, well, what about if I just hit way more sand this time? I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of...
So you're seeing that more as like a learning thing?
Ideally, yeah.
Okay, fair dues.
But it might be the wrong way of thinking about it, because you're right. If you just close it off and it's done, it's done. I think what I was impressed with yesterday after that, though, I birdied the next hole.
You did. And it was a good birdie.
I birdied the hole before it, then had a bit of a blow up, then birdied the next hole.
That was different. And that's probably more to my point, whereas I think a few months ago, you'd have done what you did in that hole we're talking about, had another go at the shot, and then probably maybe hit a blocky one into crap.
100%. I'd have made a double.
Yeah, that was different.
I genuinely think I have never putted as good in my life.
Hold a lot of putts. Was it the set? What hole did you birdie that was outrageous? Was it this? You went tee shot left.
Second or third, I think. Second.
That was if I was playing match play against you in that situation, I'd have hated you.
I honestly think I'm putting. My speed control is incredible at the moment. Putting. I've never been more confident in my putting, and I missed a couple of what I would see right now as shorter putts, but they're still like 6-8 footers, which you can't
PLD putter things.
You're not going to expect to hit.
No.
Honestly, I really, really, really impressed my putting at the moment. I think my iron play is really good. I think my wedge play has got much, much better. And I mean, like, my wedges into greens. My chipping is almost... it is improving.
It's improving, for sure.
I'm still not quite as confident to whip a wedge out just yet, but it's getting better. I chipped a few times at open qualifying, which I would have already putted. And actually, I wish I had putted a couple of them because I think it would have been a better result. But anyway, at least I chipped it. My drive is a little bit streaky at the moment, but I know it's in there. So... I genuinely came out. I spoke to James on the phone on Monday night after open qualifying. So James obviously been helping me a bit with my golf. I said, I feel like 81 might be the worst round of golf I ever shoot.
That'd be good.
Which I'm saying this on video or audio now, and it might not be. People go, oh, there you go, there's your 83. But I don't know. I actually feel more motivated after Monday than ever before.
I think to that point, you're right. You might shoot a higher score. You see Rory might shoot an 85 occasionally, 82 or something. But yeah, it might be that it probably will be hopefully the highest score you ever shoot. But I think what you're taking from that and probably how you're wording it is that you had 2 blow-up holes and still had a somewhat respectable score under the circumstances. So I think you've probably taken a lot from that. The next time you have a blow-up hole, which will happen, of course it will, it's golf, you think, oh, okay, that's like you said before, that's not everything. There's 4 birdies out there. So it's probably almost not the score that's the actual... might be the worst score you ever shoot, but it's more that you've now done that under pressure with a big crowd following you. You're taking a lot from that. That's quite a powerful thing that you have to remember.
Now, granted, I would literally pay, thousands of pounds to take that tee shot again on the 18th. And it's stupid because even if I had par 7 to 18th, it would have only been 78. But I would have been 1 under from the 10th hole. I'd have been 1 under for the last 9 holes.
Something I've said to myself, and I spoke about with James yesterday, and I think I've chatted with you about it, and it's very easy to say now, but what mindset, and again, I don't want to play golf too competitively, but what mindset I'm really trying to get into is over every golf shot, and I don't know how to think this because I don't want to put negative in my mind, but this is your chance to hit that shot. You're not going to get to do it tomorrow, again, in 6 weeks, in 6 months, or any time. So I feel like, and it will happen, but I almost want to... When you've missed a 2-foot putt before and you've just said then I'd pay anything to go and do it again, well, you can't. So in that moment, think to yourself, right, this is the chance. If I miss it, then it's on me. If I hole it, great. Because you can't do it again. It's almost how do you frame that?
The one thing, without question, I definitely was thinking on that last hole, compared to any other shot on that back 9. I wasn't... on every other hole on that back 9, I was like, how can I make a birdie on this hole? How can I hit the best tee shot? Even that was my own thinking. How can I hit the best tee shot? Once I hit the tee shot, I'm like, right, how can I hit the best second shot? And then once I hit the second shot, how can I hit the best third shot? That's what I did almost all of the back 9. I've really stayed one shot at a time. As I walked off the 17th, I even said it on camera, I need to get a hole in one here, which was ridiculous, obviously, par 5. I suddenly started thinking, if I make par here, I shoot a 78. And I was like, I'd be happy with a 78.
You're thinking of the hole already?
I thought you had a score.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the score on the leaderboard that started with a number 7.
But that's not something then that might not need fixing or addressing, but that's not something that you're fixing on the range, is it?
No, that's the mindset. But I'd done so much good mindset up until that hole. Because even after the triple on the front 9, I was like, okay, let's see what we do on the next hole. I didn't do particularly well in the next three or four holes, but I was like, I really stayed in the present. And it was only literally on that very last tee shot, I stood over it and thought, right, if I make par here, I shoot 78. And I go and knock it out of bounds.
Certainly with an 18-hole tournament, that is the thing about golf, how difficult it is, because you've had best part of probably 4.5 hours up to that point where you've pretty much been on it with your mental game. You have one blip for a second and then that can happen. Yeah. And it just shows the intensity of golf. And I honestly don't know how tour pros do it for 4 days in a row.
But even that whole last hole was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Everything I did on that last hole was terrible because as soon as I hit it out of bounds, I was like, right, I now need to birdie my second ball to shoot a 79. So like all my mindset was totally wrong on that last hole. Like I hit a great third shot off the tee, but then I was like, right, I'm 260 yards away. I was trying to go for it with a driver, this massive big high slice, which I was like, my whole mindset just blew up on that last hole. But yeah, it was very, very, very interesting. I think I know I have. I feel it in myself. I feel like I've learned a lot from it.
Good. What do you think, Ben? Ben, you were there. You were filming everything.
I was there, luckily. I think when people watch that back 9 minus the 18th, I think they'll be pretty impressed. I think you were seriously dialed and you weren't scrambling to make pars on, without giving much away. You weren't scrambling on that back 9.
I hit every green.
You were hitting every green, and those birdie putts were getting very, very, very close. And on the front 9 as well, it was bloody tough. Like, that wind was howling.
It was, yeah.
It was awful. And then I think on 11, as soon as you hit that shot, I was shooting with the crowd behind you, so I didn't actually see the shot, but the reaction was massive. And I turned around and you were 200 yards out and the ball was 5 foot away. Like, it was unreal. So I think as soon as you sunk that part, it was sort of game on for that back 9, and it was pretty impressive. So yeah, and that first tee shot, I mean, I don't pray many times in my life, but I was sat there in the crowd watching that shot going, dear Lord, please hit this straight and stripe it down there. And yeah, you smoked it. So
I think I'll take a lot of praise from that first tee shot for a long time. Like, a lot of positive vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, that was genuine. Out of all the tour pros I've ever played or anything, that was one of the most nervous I've ever been.
When you said to me before, was I nervous at Troon the other day? Truthfully, I wasn't, because it might sound silly. I know that my score is irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. We're there for a lovely day. If I block it into the ocean, so be it. If I snap hook it, whatever. But I would have been in the situation you were in, unbelievably nervous, because it feels like, even though still in the day, what is the consequence? But yeah, it feels like there's so much consequence. There's so many people watching, the awkward gasp if you fat one or shank it, and then you've got to re-go again. And again, for you, so many people know who you are and are looking at your scorecard. There was genuine reason to be nervous then. So if you, like you said, if you hit that shot under that pressure, I know you said you were very nervous when you played the Masters, I wish, that you played Augusta. But like, again, that was just an experience. Yeah. Like, that's so irrelevant, really, if you think about the nerves for that. Whereas this, there was a reason to be nervous. So
I think because it would have set up the whole round.
Yeah.
Like, if I would have sprayed, because there was so much trouble right.
Yeah.
You could miss miles left, but there's probably people left. Like, you could have killed someone. And if I'd sprayed it outright, would have been looking around in that rough. I'd have been hot and sweat. It was a hot day.
It was boiling.
I would have really, really been struggling. And the fact I stood there and absolutely piped it. I mean, club twirled it and everything. I've looked at the footage back, and literally my swing looked so good on that tee shot.
You know, as well, I was thinking that the only time I could potentially say would be similar for you in terms of nerves, but I actually think you could frame it as even less nervous, would be something like the Wentworth Pro-Am.
Yeah, that was nerve-wracking.
And if you played it again, but however, if you played that again, I think you'd even frame that as less nervous, because the difference with open qualifying, I know you were going in for different reasons than to actually qualify necessarily, but the people watching you in that situation are watching you as a professional in a professional tournament. So there's a level of expectation. Whereas if you played that the Wentworth Pro-Am, it's still you, you're still a professional, but you're more like there as the celebrity, and you're more there to have a laugh. And if you do hit a rubbish one, you go, oh bloody hell, that's why I'm not playing the tournament and these guys are, kind of banter. Whereas you were in the open qualifying as a professional golfer. So there was a weight of expectation on you.
It's really weird, this like pressure, because when the build up is like, you want anything you could do to relinquish that pressure. I keep putting myself in these situations. That was my choice to enter open qualifying. I knew I was going to be, but I've put myself in that situation. Like, even that time when I played in the in like that kind of celebrity thing before the Open last year, and I got kind of drafted in last minute. But I didn't say no. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Of course I will.
Do you think it's because the outcome, the potential positive outcome, outweighs the negative? So, for example, with this, your positive would have been shoot a good score, and you went a million miles off. And the positive of that is you get a lot more respect from maybe your peers, from the audience. Go, oh, Rick can actually play. The negative is you play horrendous, but maybe you've got a level of confidence that you don't even realise is in there. But you think, well, the chances are I'm going to play well. Because why else would you enter?
Yeah.
You wouldn't enter if you genuinely thought you were going to shoot a million.
Because I know a game is in there.
Well, that's the positive.
And the game is in there, and it's almost like I'm constantly going, prove it to yourself, Rick, then. Go on, then. There's a chance, go and prove it to yourself. And it's like that back nine, that opening tee shot, the first couple of holes and the back nine, I actually proved it to myself. For 11 or 12 holes that round of golf, I was like, I can play this game. And actually, we had a message from one of the playing partners. Sorry, I know we've run a bit longer on our Clubhouse episode here today.
Don't worry about it.
But it was a really nice message from Jason Dransfield, who really accomplished player in the local area.
Yeah, I believe so.
And he sent me a message the evening of the Open. Dear Rick, I've just played Open qualifying with you at Caldy. I have to say I was a little apprehensive when getting the drawn through as to what the playing environment would be. Would it be a circus?
Yeah.
I have to apologise for thinking that, and to say after playing with you, you have gained massive respect from me. She's very nice. As a person and a golfer, you impressed me. I know you struggled front nine, but had that run from 10 to 17 where you looked like you could compete. It doesn't actually say I could compete, but looked. And then just really went on and complimented how incredible the crew were. Also, the camera crew photographers were first class. I didn't even notice that they were there. And I think that I just want to get that in there as well, because I think some people are like, oh, why are you filming it? You know, you're going to put these other players off. We're super respectful for the other players as well. But yeah, I've taken a weird amount of knowledge from it and learning. And I genuinely believe that rolled into the round of golf I played yesterday at Royal Troon. And there's a game in there. There is a golf game in there. And I'm going to do everything I can to shoot the best scores I possibly can moving forward and see where it takes me.
That's good. And on kind of what I touched on before, what I've taken from it, which is kind of on the counter, is that for me now, I'm going to hopefully never feel pressure again to some degree, because pressure isn't necessary for amateur golfers who are playing as a hobby. Pressure is for the guys, even more so than what you were in, who are playing for their career.
I totally get that, yeah.
Pressure is for the guys who, I mean, it's different in the situation
I've
you had.
got a weird pressure where it's
yeah,
like...
you've got people watching you who are, you know, sing your praises or shoot you down. But for me, when I think about my golf, and not necessarily you here, but for me personally, like, maybe I should have been nervous at Troon. I genuinely wasn't, because I'm there working, quote unquote, having fun on a golf course. Pressure on a golf course for me is for those guys who are battling on the Challenge Tour, who've got a mortgage to pay and a family at home, who are playing badly, who are missing cuts, who've got a hole at 8-footer to make a cut. Like, that is not horrible, because I don't know, but I mean, that for me would be my nightmare. I couldn't do it. So you think, well, that's not my life. My life is shooting 85 on camera and having a laugh about it.
But I think you're in a nice sweet spot with that.
Exactly.
Because it's like, you know, people know you can play good golf, but that's not
exactly
your remit.
Exactly.
You know, you're somewhere between a 3 and a 6 handicapper.
Yeah, and it can be
1 on a good day,
and 25 on a bad day.
And it's like you can just stand there and give it a rip.
But
I think I'm too hard on myself.
I think you are, and I think a lot of my point was, though, I think a lot of people are too hard on themselves, because if, no disrespect, if you're off 18 or 25 or even 2 and you're playing on a Wednesday medal and it's just your hobby, we do want to win a lot of the time. We are competitive. That's now a lot of people's golfers' nature, and golf's such a frustrating sport, but it doesn't really matter. And the bizarre thing is, and it sounds so counterintuitive, but 9 times out of 10, the less you almost care, the better you play.
100%.
And it's so hard to think like that, isn't it?
I would love an experience, and this is something I've learned from after the round of golf. I played on Monday to not embarrass myself and not to shoot a horrendous score. That's not a way of playing golf, is it? Really, my mindset needs to have been, I'm playing golf to shoot the best possible score I can possibly shoot. And I'd love to be able to get to that point.
And take it a step further, probably what Jane would say, the next step would be, I'm hitting the next golf shot the best I can. Yeah. Not even around a golf.
No, I know.
And that's how hard it's got. And it's like...
Because I definitely play golf in a sense, because even... You know, it's that daft, even on the back 9, like, I was playing quite conservative because I was like, okay, well, pars are good. I can make pars. Where the guys who were trying to qualify, who was actually in the group, were like 2 over going, I need to get on the par. Yeah. And they're going for everything. They're going for every green, every shot. They have to make birdies, because it's not about how high they shoot. It's about how low they shoot. But it'd be nice. I don't think I've ever played golf like that.
No.
And I genuinely mean that. I don't know if I've ever played golf with the true intention of shooting the lowest score I can possibly shoot.
Imagine, and this is a really stupid thing to say, but imagine if we could get you going tomorrow to play Birkdale, let's just say, and you shoot whatever you shoot. And we then did the exact same right? You hit your tee shot, and then, like the things that they have on Men in Black, where wipes your memory. They wipe your memory and on your second shot, and they go, right, you've got 150 yards into the green, hit your shot. Hit it, get to the green, wipe your memory again. And you hit every shot as if it's just one shot you've been asked to do. And I wonder then when you got through 18 if your scores would be different.
Yeah, it has to be. I
bet it would.
It has to be.
If I that's how I feel with my own game, maybe naively, but if you give me any shot on the golf course and hit that as well as you can, and just had one shot, I'd probably doing all right. Maybe not every time, admittedly, but if you give me a whole round and a whole story and a narrative, I start to go off on one and lose it.
Yeah. I would definitely love to get in. And this is where even Break 75, even the title of that
exactly
is actually the wrong mindset.
Maybe we change it. The next shot's the most important.
I mean,
this shot's the most important even.
But it should, let genuinely now, if we titled it Break 65, okay? Just hear me out. Would I not be trying to shoot closer to 65?
Yeah.
And therefore, would I not break 75 anyway?
Maybe, but then if you start off with a bogey, then you think, oh, miles away, I can't do it now. So
I
then you go worse.
I don't know.
Who knows?
But even if it was, our mission was to shoot one round under 65. That was actually the video. Because the break 75 one is like, and I think it's almost an average score to some degree. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't, sometimes I'm close to it. Well, actually, if it was, let's try and break 65. That's actually my new goal.
But do we, again, to our point, do we ever have that mindset? Do players ever, unless, even if you've got to make a cut and shoot 3 over on a Friday, it's 3 under on a Friday, do players still go out thinking like that? Is it a mindset that's actually possible? Like, do they just have to eat shot as well as they can and then the score happens?
Yeah.
Like, I find it hard to believe when, like, again, to make a cut, a player says, yeah, and you had to shoot 500 today and I managed to do that. Like, how do you shoot, if you're just that easy, you just shot 500 the day before? Like, surely it has to be, right, every single shot is important. Maybe it's going for greens that you might not normally go for.
Sorry, where I'm wording this, though, is like, you're almost aiming for something, like, that's almost out of reach.
Oh, no, I get that, but what I'm trying to say is even having that aim on the first tee, is that wrong? Like, again, we need to ask James about this. He's the expert, and it feels like when it comes to this kind of thing, but should you even have an aim on the first tee?
Yeah.
Should your aim not just be this tee shot?
Yeah.
And then your aim is this approach shot?
How'd you do that?
I have no idea.
How hard is that?
It's incredibly hard.
That's like I say, I really felt in pockets of time in the back nine on Monday, I had that. But I can't do it for a long-term time.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, Rick.
Have we videoed this, Ben?
We have videoed it.
I think we made this as a video.
Yeah, release it.
Yeah, we wanted to. I think it would be a great clip or a full, like, a sort of clubhouse special that we can talk about. We can recap your qualifying,
I feel like this has been a bit of a mental...
I think I've enjoyed it, yeah.
Health
I need a bit of a wee again, as always, but...
I feel like this has been like, we need to get a sofa in here. Shay Lawns, you can chat
But
to
you can have like cucumbers over your eyes, just for chilling.
However, the biggest talking point from last week's episode was our young man on the ones and twos over there.
Benny boy.
Everyone very inquisitive about your taste and smell.
Oh no, we're back.
Everyone.
I actually had at open qualifying, this is probably the highlight for me, 4 people come up to me and go, oh, how's Rick doing? Is he going all right? And I go, yeah, I think he's a couple over. And I go, wait a minute, are you the bloke that can't smell?
I love that.
I was like, oh, here we go.
That's me. He's got to own it now.
They were like, you serious? I was like, yeah, you can't smell. So.
And then did they then test you as well, like we did?
They were like, oh, we've brought a bag of Percy Pigs. Oh, we've brought some celery. Can you try this? Can you taste that? No, I wish.
Last episode, we had some foreign sweets from, I think they were Swedish, and because they're absolutely horrible.
It's licorice covered in salt, basically.
It's awful, the worst sweets ever. And we forced Ben to eat one. And you actually managed to get it all the way in your mouth and actually chewed it for a while. And then you realised, oh my God, it's so salty.
We're talking about the sweet still?
Yeah, I was trying to describe that sensation to my girlfriend. And I said, it was like when you get your dinner out the oven and you go to like salt it and the thing breaks and the salt goes all over it. And it's like, if I had to pick that up and put that in my mouth, that's exactly what it tasted like. It was bloody awful.
Good description. But then what was weird when we were in Royal Troon, by the way, Royal Troon videos, we'll talk about it a bit more on Monday, it's going to be awesome. What did you order at like food when we watched the football on Tuesday?
You ordered a steak, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a steak, yeah.
Because he wasn't paying.
But like...
Couldn't you have ordered the dog food on the side?
Steak? Not just order a bit of cardboard or something.
It's not that sad, I promise. I do like,
I don't think you should have a steak again. And then also, what does it matter how it's cooked?
Texture? Is it? Look?
Yeah, it's like,
vibe?
it's still texture.
Aura?
Aura, yeah, that was a thing, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to explain, but it's a really weird thing. Like, what were we talking about? There was something the other day where I was trying to explain, but I can't. Oh, it was like lettuce on burgers. The burger's like nice and soft, the bun's soft, but having like crunchy lettuce on it kind of like ruins it. So the mix of textures
I agree
is
with
awful
that.
for me. But if it's like one nice soft burger where the sauce is, wet makes it wet, the burger's
Do you
juicy.
ever get cravings? Because I said to you, I'm kind of addicted to mini magnums at the moment.
Yeah.
And I like crave them.
The boys here will say in the office, and I'm addicted to Kit Kats, but that's because the texture's like great for me.
It is a good texture.
Yeah, like the wafer and stuff.
Did you like the caramel bars in the hotel at Royal Troon?
Yeah, they were good.
Because they're a bit like Kit Kats,
Yeah.
aren't
Yeah.
they?
I've never had a solid Kit Kat. A lot of people say they have. Have you ever had one where the finger is fully just chocolate?
I was in
No.
like a bit
It's a broken one. I say
Right,
not broken,
no
but
way.
like a faulty one. Apparently they're
think I've-
quite common. I've never had one.
don't think I have.
I never.
Well, everyone, thanks for Ben's smell and taste corner. That was good. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, I feel like I've come out of this on the other side a better person. And hopefully I'm going to play a lot more better
You
golf.
are a better person. I've just realised if this is getting filmed, I'm sat in an England shirt. Look a bit like weird in a shirt, in a football shirt.
Plus 100 aura.
Plus I've got so much aura, dripping in aura.
I think it's fine.
Okay. I know my
course
seat's a
it's
bit
fine.
low, but
It's absolutely fine.
all right. Okay, great. It's great. I need to go to the toilet now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.